This is Valley News Live at noon.
We start with breaking news this afternoon. An investigation is underway after an officer-involved shooting in the Fort Taunton area yesterday. Details are limited at this time, but the FBI just confirmed with Valley News Live that one man is dead. We'll be sure to bring you more on this story as we receive it. Well, also new at noon, a man is severely burned and a firefighter is injured after a fire at an auto salvage lot in Bemidji. The fire department says it happened yesterday at around 1. At one point, 50 firefighters and 19 pieces of equipment were on scene to get the fire under control. One man has extensive burns to his arm and torso, and a firefighter walked away with minor injuries. No word yet on what caused the fire, but the lot is considered a total loss. A woman is seriously hurt after a high-speed chase in South Fargo. It started around 2 in the morning when a state trooper tried stopping a car on I-94. The driver turned north onto I-29 and took off speeding. The chase was called off because of the highly populated area. Now, the driver turned into 13th Avenue South and broadsided another car at the intersection of West Rack Drive. The drivers of both cars got out and ran from the scene. A passenger in the car that troopers had been chasing was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. Police say alcohol was a factor in a in a rollover in the Southern Valley that sent the driver to the hospital. The Richland County Sheriff's Office says 20-year-old Chase Leah Wappington left a road south of town just before 2 this morning and rolled into a ditch. Deputies say his injuries are not life-threatening, but his car was totaled. A severe storm outbreak is still sweeping across the south. Many in its path woke up to assess tornado damage from overnight, but grateful to be alive. NBC's Sam Brock has a closer look from hard-hit Billingsley, Alabama.
In Billingsley, Alabama, about 40 miles outside of Montgomery, there isn't widespread damage, but communities that were struck are devastated. Over my shoulder right now, you see Caterpillar equipment and crews going through what used to be one man's home, a childhood residence of 60 years. His family, a dozen or more members, all living right on this plot of land where I am, next door to it even. They were huddled inside of a basement, 12 or more people able to survive last night's tornado by using a human chain to pull in a relative who happened to be stranded in the middle of what was going on. They described it as a train coming through, pressure so intense they thought that their eardrums might pop. And that is something that so many folks experienced. 24 tornadoes reported over a 5-state span. This is an event that really drew up red flags because of the fact that it was a combination of the ferocity number of tornadoes and just sheer geographic space that was impacted. Unbelievably today, so far, no reports of any fatalities connected with this storm, as there are many tales of survival and people right now just trying to figure out how they're going to move forward after seeing everything shattered. In Billingsley, Sam Brock, NBC News.
Thankfully, no severe weather in our area today. The sun is shining and temperatures are on the rise. Let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green. And Lisa, it's been a while since I've seen you. How's the weather?
Good. Welcome back and good afternoon. It's looking really good here. Of course, we've been talking about that sun returning and things will start to get quiet in the south too. This is the area of threat today. So they're not quite done with those storms just yet. The severe risk now into the Carolinas and parts of Georgia and Florida, stretching all the way back up to the Ohio River Valley. So they are still dealing with those storms down in that area. Here in the valley, it's very quiet. We've got those clear skies. We're going to see that sunshine throughout the rest of the afternoon and continuing into this evening, pleasant conditions. And there's a look at that beautiful blue sky that we are enjoying right now. Our temperatures, well, we're back into the 40s already this afternoon. 43 degrees in Fargo, 42 in Grand Forks. Our warm spot is Sisseton, already at 47 degrees. Here's your hour-by-hour planner. We're going to continue to have some milder temperatures heading into the afternoon. Average highs this time of year in the upper 30s. And so we're running a good 10 degrees above that. Add in that sunshine and not much wind. That's the key factor here too. And it's turning out to be a pretty pleasant day. We'll let you know how long this will last coming up here in your forecast.
Spring is definitely coming and we're starting to feel its heat. I'm loving it. Thanks again, Lisa. Well, 2 key rulings are expected today in the Derek Chovan murder case. One about a prior arrest of George Floyd. And the other about whether news of a multi-million-dollar settlement between Floyd's family and the city of Minneapolis is tainting potential jurors. Yesterday, the judge dismissed 2 jurors who had been seated for the trial after re-questioning them about the settlement. Chovan's attorneys say the city's settlement in the middle of the jury selection is unfair, and he's requesting a delay in the trial. Clay County Public Health is receiving more COVID vaccines this week. Last week, Clay County administered almost 900 doses. This week, 1,700 doses will be administered. Clay County also reports that over 20% of people have received one dose and more than 10% have received both. Now, with ages 50 to 64, close to 30% have received the first dose and almost 70% have received both doses. Even with the low COVID-19 rate, health officials urge everyone to remain cautious over the next couple of weeks. Okay, well, all Clay County schools have been offered the vaccine multiple times, but no data has been released at this time with how many staff members have been vaccinated. The mobile food pantry is making plans for several stops in Clay County later this month. It will be stopping in Barnesville, Hawley, Ulen, Felton, Glendon, and Moorhead on March 31st. Trucks will be loaded with fresh vegetables, bakery items, and boxed goods for people in need of food assistance. There's no cost. To find out specifics. Check out this story on valleynewslive.com. The Red River Zoo is excited to welcome its newest guest that you might see rolling through town. Fancy, the Virginia possum, was rescued from Georgia. The executive director at the zoo says Fancy has a spinal cord injury and wouldn't survive in the wild. The Red River Zoo wanted to give Fancy her mobility back, so they created a possum-friendly wheelchair for her to scoot around in. She's now part of the zoo's outreach program, where animals are brought to schools to teach children about nature. The celebration for St. Patrick's Day isn't over yet. A parade will happen this weekend in downtown Fargo. This weekend will be the 24th year for the parade. It will start on NP Avenue at 4th Street in downtown Fargo at 11 Saturday morning and travel up Broadway North. This year, you can check out vintage cars, the equestrian team, and the Irish clan that founded the parade many years ago. If you attend the parade, you will be asked to bring a mask and to social distance from others.
Being a small business is hard anytime. It's been especially hard this past year. So we're hoping if we can get people to interact with downtown Fargo again, we can start seeing that foot traffic and our small businesses can start to thrive again.
Also happening this weekend is the annual coloring contest. You'll be able to watch the NDSU game against UND at Broadway Square, but of course, you can also catch the game on Saturday on KVOY. Well, pediatricians are seeing the first ever case of a baby born with antibodies to COVID-19. That story is still to come on Valley News Live at noon. And sunshine's returning during the end of our work week. Weather up next with meteorologist Lisa Green.